What's good, everybody? It's Jay Coffee Talk. Hit that subscribe button and the bell. Just takes a quick moment. Daily videos, music, news, sports, current events, much more. Check it out. I wanted to take a quick walk down memory lane, a little hip hop history. I want to share this post right quick that I put up with you guys. So check it out. You see the pic, DMX and Redman, two legendary dope artists in my opinion. You know what I mean? From like when I was getting into hip hop and everything like that. These two dudes right here were a big part of it. Don't get me wrong, I was into hip hop, into rap music before they were on the scene, but still huge part of it. So check it out, man. It says X and Redman, two legends. 4321 was my shit, classic track. And then I put here, this track actually started the LL versus Canibus beef, which they finally squashed it a few years back, and indirectly started the Canibus versus Eminem beef. So check it out. If you remember, it was on the LL Cool J Phenomenon album. And on 4321, which had DMX, Redman, Method Man, Canibus, LL Cool J, and on the remix, Master P had a verse on there too. If you recall, the video was like scary movie themed. Like there was some of the artists were wearing scream masks. I think Method Man was like a mummy. I forget who Canibus was. I think he might have been Jack the Ripper. I don't know that LL was dressed up as anyone. I remember in the remix version that had Master P's verse, he was rocking a Broncos jersey. But a Elway joint, I think, actually, man. Right around that time, Elway won them 2 Super Bowls at the tail end of his career. But anyways, getting back to this track, to this hip hop history moment that I want to kick it politic on with y'all. On Canibus's verse, there was a line where he said his original verse, not the verse that made it onto the song. On the original verse, which he changed, he said something along the lines of, LL has that iconic tattoo that had the mic and, like the cord goes down his arm and everything. Definitely a dope tattoo. Canibus said something like, yo, LL, that mic, let me borrow that, or something like that. LL seen it as a beef and wrote a verse destroying Canibus. But keep in mind what I said about LL's verse. We're going to come back to that. So Canibus, I believe, he changed his verse. And, it still was a dope verse. He said something like, I call like something about more than a millennium Mazda's got on a car lot or something. Oh, how many rhymes you got? I got more than a millennium Mazda's got on a car lot. There's nowhere to run to when I confront you. I call you bluff like you had a phone number. Something like that. They all came hard on that. Everyone's verse was dope. But LL's verse was like, he just went in. So anyways, they have a conversation. The conversation is out there, the phone call. It's on YouTube. You can go hear it. LL convinced Canibus to change his verse or whatever. LL's verse remained the same. I believe LL was supposed to change his verse as well, but he didn't. So Canibus ended up getting, they ended up having a beef, which Canibus wrote Second Round Knockout. Highly underrated diss track, in my opinion. He came hard for LL's crown on that diss track. And he had Mike Tyson in the video. Wyclef was the ref. It was like in a boxing ring. It was dope. And then I believe, and then LL responded with that Return of the Ripper or something like that. And he actually took some shots at Clef on the song also. Wyclef ended up making a song called What's Clef Got to Do With It, which wasn't really a diss, but it's still a part of the beef because he was just saying, like, why you coming at me, Clef? So, anyways, that explains the LL Cannabis beef. They ended up taking shots at each other over the years on, many different occasions. On the GOAT album, he said something about Cannabis getting his rhymes off the internet or something like that. Cannabis dissed him so many times. Same thing like Cannabis did with Eminem on so many different albums. You know what I mean? Now, let's get into, but anyways, yes, they did squash it. I believe in like 2015 or 16, they got on stage together, and I believe they performed 4, 3, 2, 1. That's post pulling out the notebook Cannabis. That's after that incident. People get at me all the time whenever I blog about that. I lost a lot of respect for Cannabis with that. Like, I've always held Cannabis in such high regard when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, his lyrical abilities, his style. Like, I rock with Cannabis so hard, and I'm an Eminem fan as well. Which is like, I think they're kind of similar. You know what I'm saying? There's always been that argument out there, yo, if Cannabis or if Eminem was black, he'd be Cannabis. Someone said that to him too. Was that, oh, that was Benzino, I believe. But anyways, like, if Eminem and Cannabis could ever squash the beef and do a track together, that would be dope as well. But I don't think that will ever happen. Cannabis does not like Eminem at all. Like, it feels like there's hatred between them. But anyways, let's get into how the Cannabis Eminem beef started off this. Now, legend has it, right, that Cannabis, back at this time when the 4, 3, 2, 1 situation and all that, this is early on in Cannabis's career. And Cannabis' career didn't exactly go where it should have, in my opinion. But he's rocking with Wyclef at this time. He ended up dissing Wyclef too on his second album, 2000 BC. He said something about the first album was weak. It wasn't my fault. Wyclef spoiled it, saying it was like subpar beats and, things of that nature. But anyways, I don't know if it was the diss verse on 4, 3, 2, 1 or Return of the Ripper. One of the disses that LL, had against Cannabis. Like through the rumor mill, through the grapevine, through the pipeline, whatever you want to call it, word was traveling around the hip hop world that Eminem back then at that time wrote the verse for LL. And I know that probably sounds crazy to a lot of people, but you can go check that out. There's word about that. You know what I mean? I believe Canibus and Wyclef mentioned this somewhere. They seen Eminem on a set of some kind of video, an unknown Eminem at this time. Like, I don't even think My Name Is was out yet. And they asked him, yo, did you write that verse? Did you write that LL verse? And Eminem was like, nah, man, I didn't. And, Cannabis, like Eminem said, he basically, like, Cannabis, he knew Cannabis always kind of held a bit of a grudge against him and didn't believe him. And then, later on in his career, Cannabis started dissing him. And, Eminem even actually recently, I did a video about it on my channel. I probably mentioned some of what I mentioned here, but it's all good that I mention it again because I don't got a real huge platform. And some of this content, you know what I mean, that I be putting out, I don't think everyone gets to hear. So, and my channel's all about hearing what the people got to say and chopping it and kicking it with all you guys out there, the people. So, if you didn't hear it last time, you might hear it this time and drop a dope comment and we can kick it on some hip hop, just love of hip hop and talking about hip hop history. You know what I mean? That's what J Coffee Talk platform is all about. But recently, Eminem dissed Cannabis on the Conway joint Bang on Shady Records debut. The What Would Sheen Gun Do album, I believe that was the lead off single. I think it might have not. It might have been on a different album. I'm not sure. But Eminem dropped a couple bars at Cannabis on there, where he said something about that he was a fan of his, and he felt so bad that he had to do what he did to him, something like that. But I forget how it goes. He said it was Cannabis. I was a fan of his. I don't know. But anyways, just wanted to go over this hip hop history with you guys. I love talking about hip hop. I love talking about sports. I love talking all different type of topics, and that's what I do on this channel. So if you enjoyed, this walk down memory lane, and like I said, you got something to add to this, or if I'm wrong about something, because like I said, with the whole Eminem, I don't recall exactly what verse it was alleged that he wrote. But that's what the word was. They heard he ghost wrote something for LL that was aimed at Canibus. So but yeah, drop a comment if you got something to add, whatever. Let's chop it up. Let's kick it in the comments. Let's get this discussion going. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell. Follow me on the gram. Follow me on Twitter. I'm out of here, you guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.